They challenged me to accept myself as a Latino gay man. They challenged me to be able to discuss who I was, not just in a sexual aspect, but also who I was as a community member, as a leader.
When this monument was created, I mean, it was a publicly funded project. You know, though there are so many names engraved on that monument, you know, and each name represents a life, an actual story, not a statistic, not a fact, not a figure. These are actual names, people who have families.
The wall is making it easier for people through educational process, through testing process, through awareness process, for those people to deal with their situation in a way that will help them survive the disease.
This is an organization that's not just talking, but is actually doing some very important things.
The leadership of the executive director of the organization is something that I admire. Again, I come across a lot of people in leadership positions who have lost that passion to do HIV/AIDS work, and the leadership that I see here is incredible.
Mixing Latinos and culture and faith-based organizations, it just pulled me towards the Wall Las Memorias. Because it's the people in the organization that make the organization what it is. They gave me the strength to just go forward.
The mission of the Wall Las Memorias is great. It has a greater perspective, and it looks at addressing these various issues.
Getting that tingling at the base of my skull, you know, just that excitement of knowing this is something more than just a mission statement. And it was like putting your hopes and dreams into this vision of some place that when people visited, that they could just be free. I mean, really, really free.
I think that the wall itself, the monument itself, has impacted the community in many levels. I'm sure that there was a point at the beginning when people didn't want to recognize that their child, their brother, their nephew has passed on to HIV. But today I see people that stand proud and visit the monument and proud to look at their family member's name or friend's name and see that their loss was not in vain. HIV and AIDS is still an ongoing battle, but knowing that we now have this wall that commemorates these people who've lost their battle because it didn't have the cure back then, several years ago, and the idea that now people are prolonged, their lives are prolonged, it's definitely instills motivation and hope that that day will come when we won't need the wall.
Well, several years ago at this point, the Wall Las Memorias brought a big testing van into the parking lot on a Saturday, and our youth group was the one that really wanted to. They were the group that really wanted to make it happen, and they organized it and they arranged it and everything. For me, it was really amazing looking at like 20 or 25 young people who were out there. Some of them got tested. Thinking about 30 years ago when I was a young kid and what I would have done and how afraid people were then of AIDS, and the first person I knew who died of AIDS, and it seemed so remote and so strange and such a scary disease. But for these youth living today, it's something that they see and they understand. So having that work of the Wall Las Memorias brought it home. And those kids still today, they're living a life where not that they're not afraid of HIV and AIDS, but people who have it they're not afraid of them. They're perfectly comfortable. They're fully integrated into the life of people who are sick and who are struggling, and they don't have the fear that people would have had when I was a kid. So it's an amazing experience of tearing down that barrier and bringing people together, and that's what the church is all about.
It's always been important for me to be socially conscious about issues that affect me and affect others. It's personal because I am a gay man, and I'm at that age now where a lot more friends are getting infected with HIV. I hear about it more and more, and it's something that I want to change. My best friend, Joe, came out to me with his status, tremendously impacting, because he was one of the first people that joined my AIDS Walk team when I started it in 2005, having no clue that he had it. The stigma, the shame and guilt, I mean, it is so prevalent, and it's so blatantly humongous for a lot of people. He didn't tell me about his status for about 6 years, and that just shows you how big this issue is on a mental scale as well.
I've been HIV positive for 19 years and living with AIDS about 17 of those 19 years. I began doing public speaking for Being Alive organization and also for LAUSD Positively Speaking, and I was doing that for almost 15 of these years of being infected. So pretty early on I got involved with an organization, and it was through organizations that I learned I needed help with, because living with HIV alone, I live in San Gabriel Valley area, I live in Whittier, and there's really very few services there for people living with HIV, and much less women living with HIV. There's just like minimal stuff. So I needed to branch out, and I knew in order for myself to live successfully and live productively, I needed to be involved with an agency, because I don't really know how anybody could live alone knowing they had an HIV diagnosis, AIDS diagnosis, and try to do it on their own without help.
The work is necessary and it's good, and we know that, but some of the powers that be, some of the people that hold the purses, maybe they don't want it. And that's what makes this organization, as long as it's surviving, it's a model for little organizations, just like this organization started, okay? What you do for the Latino community, that is a biggie, that's really big. Here I am, I'm a Latino myself, and here we are in 100% Latino mega church, like it's a cathedral, okay? And I know that it's the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more people here at this in this community, that are part of this community, that are at risk, and for different reasons, and we need to reach out to them. But first, they need to know that they're accepted.
But over here, this is Eric right here. You'll see him with my other son Al, and Solomon, my grandson. And that's when I'm sorry. And this is when he started getting sick over here. He's right here. And right here, he's right here with his sister and brother and myself. I don't have very many pictures of him. Eric is still with me in my heart, but my son Eric passed away with AIDS, and its 10th anniversary is this year. And I'm doing the AIDS walk. So is my family, so is my granddaughter. We're all going to do the AIDS walk, because they kept saying, when are we going to walk for Eric? When are we going to walk for Eric? And I said, when it's 10 years, when I really know he's gone. So we're all going to walk the AIDS walk. And the way I got involved with this group that I really enjoy going to the Walls Memorias. There was an article in a throwaway paper they throw in the neighborhoods all over, and there was a nice article in there about Richard and the guys. They were all gung-ho. They were really wanting to get this off the ground and really show people, you know, what AIDS is all about, and just saying, you know, a lot of these people just look down on it. And to me, when they start looking down on something like that they don't know nothing about, it really upsets me. So I really got involved with them that way, and after they had programs, I was always invited with them, and I was very proud to go with them when they went to the hospice over there in Tijuana, because they have a hospice over there they support, and I enjoyed going down there and seeing the hospice and seeing what they do, helping everything else, and that was a plus.